Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? I'm Andre Kachaturian. This is the Spread Podcast, and he's Mike Cole. We are recording this on September 17, Wednesday. Happy birthday, Mike. What a day.
Yeah, thanks. There's nothing I'd rather be doing on my birthday than celebrating it with you and going over week three of the 2025 NFL season.
Well, I mean, if week three is anything like week one or two, we just have it really good right now as football fans. Every week's been the both weeks have been fantastic so far with incredible games, fantastic and like end of games. The was it Giants Cowboys was just great all around this week. You had some good Monday night finishes with the Bucks and Texans. Well, Chargers Raiders wasn't good. Eagles
Yeah.
Chiefs was a good game.
Yeah.
That Broncos Colts was a heartbreaker for me as someone who wagered on the Broncos, and
Uh,
that I don't know if you saw the ending of that game, but uh
I did with the controversial penalty
leverage.
call. That's a tough way to lose a bet.
Oh my, I was like, oh, I hit the parlay. It was a four
Yeah.
teamer, and that was the one
Uh,
that I had to hit.
well, that is the problem with wagering on parlays is that one you only need one bad call to really
Yeah.
mess your day up. Although speaking of parlays, I should have parlayed my three leans last week because I read the board immaculately with our three picks, if you want to
Yes,
call it that, last week. I hit them all, so
you sure did.
seeing it
You hit the
well.
Packers, you hit the Lions, and we what was our third game? The Eagles. Yeah, I went three for three as well. I should have just done
The
those three.
first one, no, we didn't do the Packers game last week because that was a Thursday night game. We did. This is very impactful
Oh,
stuff,
49ers
obviously.
Saints. We did 49ers.
Yes.
I hit that
Oh,
as
you went
well.
three. Yeah. Okay. All right.
There
We
you
were
go.
simpatico last week. You should have just wagered on that. A three-team parlay would have gotten you home. You would have made money.
Well, I think I did. I just added the Broncos over the Colts, and that's what.
Oh, you got greedy.
I mean, I Colts. How are the Colts 2-0? I don't get it. But
You're gonna have two horses, though. You're betting on it. That's if I know anything about you, it's that if the horses are getting together, it's gonna be a bet.
that's true. All five bird teams won.
I saw that. That was the first person I thought of was my son because he loves like the animal teams. The second person I thought of was you. I was like, I can't wait to talk about this with Andre.
5-0, first time since 2020. Incredible week for the birds. Eagles, Cardinals,
Imagine there's like
Ravens,
there's definitely some like aviary fanatic out there who just
bird
bets like
parlay.
parlays on the birds every week and finally it got home for him this week. It's like hell yeah.
Well, let's kick off with the birds. The Eagles, who will be hosting the LA Rams in the battle of 2-0 teams in the 1 o'clock window, which is great because there's a lot of teams who are going to be starting backup quarterbacks this week. Five teams starting backup quarterbacks already in week three. So it's good to have a solid game in the 1 o'clock window where we won't have to watch uh, Tyrod Taylor and uh, Chase Browning and all those other
Jake Browning, yeah. Yeah.
garbage quarterbacks. Uh, Eagles 3.5 point favorites in the rematch of the NFC divisional game. What do you see happening in this one? 72 degrees in Philly compared to the blizzard that happened last year in January.
Yeah, I like the Rams a lot here. Because I will say, in the full interest of fairness, I have not really watched the Rams play much at all this year, if at all. Quick aside, you've kind of got me onto this. You say you watch it through for baseball, but I think maybe the one of the greatest things on the internet right now is the NFL's YouTube page
Oh yeah,
that puts up 15-minute highlight packs of every game. You can watch that on the treadmill at the gym as a way to kind of get caught up to speed. So that's largely how I've consumed a lot of the teams this year, including the Rams. So it's been more of a statistical deep dive, but I've watched a lot of the Eagles, and I give them credit. Like they've found ways to win two emotionally charged games, one against a rival on opening night, one in the Super Bowl rematch on the road. I think you can get a lot of credit for that, but they haven't looked overly impressive. 29th in yards per game. They're 31st in passing yards. Time of possession remains high, so like they are running the ball well. I think I'm not. It's nothing groundbreaking, but like if you can stop them on first and second down and keep them out of like if it's third and 5 or less, like they're almost certainly going to get a first down, right? Because they'll
Yeah.
run Saquon for like 3 yards, 3 or 4 yards, and then tush push, and you got so like I think the Rams are uniquely capable of stopping them. One thing I really dived into this week was like pass rush, win rate, run block, all the kind of a lot of trenches stuff. And so there are 5 teams in the NFL this season that are top 10 in pass rush win rate and run stop win rate. It is, or excuse me, there's 4 teams. It's the Browns, the Patriots, the Seahawks, and the Rams. So the Rams front seven's been really good.
Wow.
I think they come in and they do enough to just muck it up on first and second down, keep Philly out of that third and fourth and manageable. And if they do that, there's not a lot of, you know, there's not a lot to really hang your hat on from the Eagles' offensive attack, especially their passing game. So if the Rams can get them in a spot where they have to throw the ball, I like the Rams to keep this close within the field goal. I think they kind of laid a blueprint last year. They did a nice job in that playoff game, despite that was also too. Was that not? Am I getting my years mixed up? Was that not in the midst of the wildfires?
Yeah, no, it
So
was
they
during the
played
wildfire.
their home game in Arizona, right? And then they had to
Yes.
go to Philly, and like they never went home. So like the adversity was high as well. They went out there and they played a good game. I think they're gonna be fired up to get not revenge, but be like, hey, we're gonna finish the job this time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they win outright, but I like them to cover the number. Their offense is I think still kind of figuring it out. But like if you look at the Pro Football Focus numbers for their offense, they're pretty high. So
Yeah.
they've graded out well. I don't know how good they are, but I think they are uniquely capable of giving Philly a game here. I just think it's a bad matchup for the Eagles.
I'm glad you mentioned that playoff game because the Rams were the only team in the playoffs last year to give the Eagles a run for their money. They came the closest to beating them. They blew out Washington. The Eagles blew out Washington. They blew out the Chiefs, but the Rams came down to the last possession.
There
Stafford,
was one team that gave them an okay tough. The Packers played them
Packers.
pretty.
I mean, that was a what was that? A two possession game?
Yeah, it was. The Packers had a bunch of injuries in that game, but yeah, it was kind of close late. But you're right; they never were really in danger of losing that game, whereas the Rams certainly had a chance to
They
win
had a
it. And
chance to
so,
win it, and there was a bad penalty that set them back
yeah.
in the fourth quarter, and then they ultimately lost. Also, the Rams were in control of that game until the blizzard came in the second half. All these LA guys, old Matt Stafford has to deal with a blizzard. That game could have gone differently if it wasn't snowing. Saquon Barkley is the one guy that the Rams have to worry about, though, because last year in 2 games against the Rams, Barkley had 4 touchdowns. All 4 of the touchdowns were longer than 60 yards. He
That's
had
insane.
62-yarder, 78-yarder, 70, and 72. 3 of them were over 70 yards. So if there's a prop bet you want to put on Saquon having a long touchdown score, I would take that. For whatever reason, the Rams struggle against him, but I think the Rams do cover. I think they win. Like you said, the Eagles coming off 2 emotionally charged games, back to back to back now, emotionally charged games against a very good Rams team, what can be an NFC title game preview. And the Rams, their opponents, the first 2 weeks haven't been that impressive, but they've done their job against bad teams. They didn't allow a touchdown against the Texans, and they crushed the Titans. And and their defense, you mentioned their defense. They've really done a good job of drafting in the last couple of years. They have some really good names in their secondary and their linebacking core. Jared Verse is slowly
I
turning
was
into one of the best defensive players in the game.
gonna
Uh,
say like that dude, that third, like a third round pick from 2023 who has like 3 sacks through 2 weeks already.
they
It's
have
like
a
they
they've been
find
good
guys
against
and they coach
that
them up. It's unbelievable.
very well coached team. I think they have a huge coaching edge in this one with Sean McVay against Sirianni. I think they have the quarterback edge,
That's
skill
interesting.
players. I mean, Devontae Adams has been fantastic. What a great addition for the Rams. I don't think it's a secret at this point that I'm basically telling you the Rams are my NFC Super Bowl contender pick. I think they're just very good all around. And I think they go into Philly and they get a W here, and you know, and they kind of have more heat on their ass because they know that if they have any slip up, they're just in a tougher division. So San Francisco and who knows
Mhm.
Arizona is. We'll talk about that later. But meanwhile, the Eagles are in a Washington had a misstep. Are they going to be as good as they were last year? The Eagles can lose a few games and they'll still probably win that division.
Yeah, and actually Jaden Daniels hurt too. So like who knows where
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
the
call.
Eagles could wrap this thing up by Halloween, honestly, depending on how things fall. Um, Not a whole lot to dive into there. I was actually going to ask you where you think the Rams rank in the NFC because I'm still not totally sure what I think of them, but
Well,
I
I like
think
the Packers a lot too. I shouldn't have
yeah.
immediately put the Rams in the Super Bowl. Especially if it's Rams at Packers in the playoffs, I don't see LA going to Green Bay. We're gonna have a similar cold game situation. I think that fares better for a good running team like the Packers with Josh Jacobs, the same way Saquon ran all over them last year at Philly. But we're a long way from there. I think that's why these games matter. Rams probably won home field in the playoffs. They had two non-LA games last year, and they would like to host a playoff game this year. Even though
One
the
other thing
Rams
we
Packers game would probably have more Packers fans.
yeah, yeah. One other thing we should have probably checked there. I don't know if you did. Are the Rams staying on the East Coast this week? They must be, right? Like back to back 1 o'clock games on the East Coast. It feels like it makes all the sense in the world to stay over here. And just,
Nashville, and then I don't know if they went back. I'm not sure.
I
I guess
guess,
Nashville's not on the coast, so I wouldn't really call it East Coast, but
yeah, but they,
also in the central
feels
time zone.
they in the, I know that's but still, like it's the, it's not like it's a 1 o'clock start in Nashville. It's a noon start in Nashville.
There, yeah.
Uh, I could see them staying at the the Greenbrier or something in West Virginia. It feels like something that teams always do. So
Yeah.
one thing to keep in mind there.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess we both agree here on the Rams. That's exciting. Let's move forward to our next classic showdown in the NFC West. A lot of NFC West talk this week. Two 2-0 teams. The resurgent San Francisco 49ers bouncing back from a tough year last year. They got a big win against the Saints in week one, followed that up. Sorry, week two. Last week they got a big win. And after a big win against the Seahawks in week one, now they're looking to go 3-0 against the Arizona Cardinals, who are also 2-0, but their competition hasn't been very impressive. They beat I think the Carolina Panthers last week, barely holding on to a lead that it seemed like garbage time points for the Panthers, but next thing you know is they're driving
Yeah.
the lead. It's like, oh wow, this is a game. And then they beat the Saints in week one as well. So I guess both teams have beat the Saints. But 49ers coming into this game as a 1.5 point favorite at home, which is interesting. They will be with the backup
It
quarterback, Mac Jones. And you talked about this last week. You said you believe in Mac Jones in their first week against the Saints, but not so much long term. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's interesting. Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, opened as 1.5 point favorites, and now it's been bet the other way to 1.5 points. I like Arizona in this one. I'll take the 1.5, even on the road. I don't think San Francisco. Maybe this will be famous last words. Um, I don't think they're that good, and I think more tape on Mac Jones. And like Mac looked okay, but not great either. So I think there's volatility to say the least with Mac Jones, and you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. Again, and I think the point that you made about Arizona having played nobody thus far makes it tough to kind of scout the box scores with them. But they are another team that's the flip side of one of the stats I was just talking about the last game is the offensive line. They are top 10 in both pass blocking and run blocking. So they've done a pretty good job of protecting Kyler. They haven't really gotten James Conner going much, which is kind of interesting. And I think maybe there's a chance for him to get going here. I think this is a low scoring game because the 49ers defense might be elite. Like Robert Saleh has done a tremendous job through those first 2 weeks. I think this is a step up in competition for them, though. So, um, again, I think I don't trust either one of these quarterbacks, to be honest with you. But I
Yeah.
guess I would trust Kyler a little bit more to be able to make a play, whereas I think Mac is destined to make some sort of boneheaded decision. So, it's basically a coin flip. I think more often than not, you probably lean toward the home team with the coin flip and a home, or especially in a divisional game. But um, I just think, I kind of staked my claim last week, planted my flag in this, saying I'm going to, kind of go back the other way next week. And it kind of played out exactly how I thought it would. So I'll jump off the 49ers here and I'll grab the point and a half with the Cardinals.
I like the 49ers. I think point and a half is basically a pick 'em, right?
Yeah.
And,
I wish it was more. I thought it was going to be more.
gun to my head, 49ers at home against Arizona Cardinals. Any time in the last 3 years when they have Christian McCaffrey healthy, I would take the 49ers.
Yeah.
I also think the Cardinals, I haven't looked this up, but I just feel like they haven't been good in division games in the last few years. At least I know they always get blown out by the Rams, but they how do they do against San Francisco last year? Just looking that up real quick. They beat them in San
They've
Francisco
beaten them a lot.
23. That was a Chad not a Chad, what's his name? Chad Ryland game winning field goal. And they beat them both
Former
times
Patriots,
last year.
great. They've actually done really well against them. Like I remember that's like a weird one is that they've had some success despite, well, I guess they had lost the three previous games by about a combined 100 points, but they got them last year.
They got him last year, walk-off field goal. And I don't know, maybe that's extra motivation for San Francisco. They've lost back-to-back games, but mostly I like San Francisco because I think they have the best player on the field with Christian McCaffrey. He is clearly showing that he's healthy in the last 2 weeks. He leads the league in touches. He's making an impact on the field, and I think he's only going to get better throughout the season, especially with Mac Jones as quarterback. He's if Mac Jones is in trouble, he has always McCaffrey to throw to, and he's going to make plays and get yards. I love what you said about Robert Saleh, the defense. I think this is San Francisco's bounce back year. I think even with Mac Jones as quarterback, he's a guy who's shown he can take a team to the playoffs. And that was a much worse New England roster that he did it with. So this is a situation as well. Maybe Arizona's thinking too highly of themselves. They're 2-0, and now are they going to go on the road and beat San Francisco? I just don't see it happening. I really, really like San Francisco here, and I'm very sorry to have disagreed with you. I feel like I haven't disagreed with you on anything since week one, but here we are in disagreement.
It's okay. It's okay. I looked it up. 15-15. So it's the start of since 2010, the two teams.
Wow.
So they split it. So yeah, it was a Cardinals sweep last year, 49ers sweep the 2 years before, and a Cardinals sweep in 2021. So uh, whoever wins this game, I guess you kind of
You have to go
bet
with
the
them.
rent on the sweep whenever they meet again. So I don't have a whole lot to add. The NFC West is a bit of a blind spot for me, as I kind of admitted with the Rams. So I just don't think either of these teams are great. They've
No, I
a
think one of
really
these
easy
two teams will
schedule.
make the playoffs, though.
Hey, what's that?
I think one of these two teams will probably make the playoffs, though.
I
You always have like
Yeah. What
the
about the
Giants made
Seahawks?
the playoffs a few years ago. Yeah, I think they're all fighting for second. I don't buy the Seahawks. I just think Darnold is gonna
Yeah.
down to earth. I love their defense, but they really only won last week because the Steelers kick returner let the ball bounce into the end
Yeah, that's
zone
true.
and Seattle recovered, and that was the difference of the game. So I don't know how good they are either.
No.
Who are they playing this week? Seattle Seahawks. It's a bird team. They're playing the Saints, so they'll probably win this week, and they'll be 2-1.
Jesus. Like the entire NFC West is just gonna get that Saints game out of the way before October by the sounds of it, which is good, I guess. So we don't just get the Saints out of my face.
Are the Saints just trying to get Arch Manning? So they have Archie and Arch on the same team.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Spencer Rattler will find a way to blow that somehow. I don't know how.
So yeah, he'll go on this heater in January.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
way Arch Manning is playing, I don't know if he'll go number one. So
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
we should throw in some college games on this show next week. Anyway, last game of the when the NFL schedule isn't good, we'll throw in a college game. How about
All
that?
right.
Sometimes we could have absolutely thrown one in today, not talked about the 49ers and Cardinals. But this next one is going to be a barn burner in Michigan, right? Michigan, is that where the game is?
No, it's in Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore. Oh, Ravens home opener. About time. They're playing the Detroit Lions in what's going to be a classic game. I don't think it's going to be a classic. I think it's going to be a blowout. I'll tell you who I think is going to blow who out after you give your pick. 4.5 point favorites. The Ravens coming off a big win, their first win of the season against the Cleveland Browns, and Detroit also getting their first win against um, the lowly Chicago Bears. What do you see happening in this game?
I I like Detroit. Give me the points. I'll take the 4.5. It opened at 5.5, so we're on the wrong side of the movement. That's a bummer. But I'll take the 4.5 points with the Lions. I, I'm not like I thought they'd be better last week. They were. I don't know. Like they're not going to score 50 points. I think they're like going to comfortably settle in between week 1 and week 2 Lions, right? Like I don't think they're going to look as bad as they did at Green Bay. I don't think they're going to look as good as they did at home against the Bears. I think this is a decent matchup because I have major questions about the Ravens defense that got even bigger with a couple of injuries this week. So it sounds like Kyle Van Noy, I think he's got a hamstring or quad injury,
Oh,
will probably be out. It sounds like Marlon Humphrey's got a groin injury, probably will also be out. Jair Alexander, that means I guess might have to play despite being a healthy scratch last week, but he has a lingering knee issue as well. Um, on the other side of things, like the Lions have not done a very good job of generating a pass rush, which has been kind of perplexing given the fact that they have Aiden Hutchinson. They're 31st in win rate, and they've also struggled against the run. But Baltimore's offensive line is not very good. Like Lamar has had to really do a lot. A lot of it is on his own. Um, I think again, this is I haven't checked the weather, but I can't imagine it's going to be
the
totally
weather
inclement or anything
is
like that.
73 and clear.
So like there goes the Jared Goff stuff. There goes the offensive stuff. I think big game for pretty much all of the Lions skill position players. I think they can throw a lot at the Ravens here. I have thoughts of this being there's a non-zero chance we're talking about this game like we talked about. What was it? The Chiefs Eagles game that or was it Rams Chiefs that major Monday night game. It might have even been in Mexico where they scored a
52,
million
49. No,
points.
it was supposed to be in Mexico, and then they moved it to LA. It was like
All
Thanksgiving
right.
weekend. I ended up getting a last minute ticket. Best game I've ever been to. It was so cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was at the Coliseum, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. It was always like 50 to whatever. So I think I would be on the over here. And I if that's the
52 and a
case,
half.
I think that what's that?
This is 52 and a half to over under.
Yeah, that's high. But if it is going to be that high, I think that plays more into the Lions' hands. So I think they are able to keep it close.
Yeah, you made a lot of great points. You almost convinced me to change my pick, but I have to, the way you stuck with the Mac Jones negativity, I have to
Yeah.
stick with the Lions negativity. My entire preseason preamble for 2025 was that the Lions are going to take a step back. They're not going to be good this year. And I think this is a great example. Again, Ravens home opener. They're going to be fired up in the MNT Bank. Actually, no, it's not their home opener. I apologize. They were at home against Cleveland. But it's a Monday night game, first primetime game at home.
For all intents and purposes, this is their home opener.
It's going to be a very tough environment, and I still think that losing those two coordinators is going to be a major issue for the Lions throughout the entire season. Now, last week was an anomaly. I think they came out with a lot of vigor and energy because they were at home and against Ben Johnson, and even the players said that they felt betrayed by him for leaving. So
True.
they were playing for something.
It's a good
Uh,
point.
and I also look at that one Lamar Jackson stat against NFC teams, which I don't think it's just some weird stat. I think he's 24-2 against the NFC teams in his career. And I just think the reason why people have talked about this, and this isn't my invention, but NFC teams don't see Lamar as often. And because they don't see him as often, he is more prone to succeed against them in those few and often times that he plays against them,
Hmm.
because he's such a difficult quarterback to defend. Whereas the Browns, they see him twice a year, and they beat them last year. The Browns beat the Ravens last year. So I just think they're because of his uniqueness, it's much more difficult for NFC teams who don't see him often to defend against him. And I think he's going to go off and have a big game. And I love their weapons. They just, with Zay Flowers and now we have this guy, Tez Walker, who had 2 touchdowns last week.
He's
Uh,
good.
Derrick Henry had a slow week last week. I imagine that he'll blow up again this week. Maybe he was saving some juice for the Lions. Uh, I think it might get ugly. I think it will get ugly. 14, two possession game, and the Ravens will walk away with a 2-1 record. They need this one. They don't want to go 1-2. But I could see what you're saying. Ravens still win, but it's a 3-point game. 4.5 is a lot of points against a team like the Lions.
Yeah, especially considering the Ravens, as we saw in week one, struggle to put teams away even if they have big leads. Um,
Yes, yes,
I don't think
they've
that.
struggled with that for throughout like the last 2 years.
I don't know if that happens as much at home as it does on the road, but something to keep in mind as well.
But
Yeah,
because it has happened, maybe it's something they work on and they don't blow the lead.
how exactly do you think they work on that?
Staying focused throughout 60 minutes.
Yeah, which I think is tough to do when you have a 3-score lead, probably, right?
Um, True.
I think that's impossible to coach and teach.
No, you're right. And it's tough for the
I just
for
think
the
it's
Ravens this week because next week they go at Kansas City, and if they can somehow win both of these, if there's a game they're gonna not put as 100% effort in, and I think it'll be this week versus because I should have probably looked at the Ravens schedule before making my pick because that's a big look ahead spot. They're gonna be on a short week against at the
yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah,
The
but
Chiefs stink now, right?
they've played they've played the Bills, Browns, uh Lions, and then Chiefs. Like they're I don't think like look ahead games even exist when you're
No.
just like your schedule is what it is. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't look
And then
ahead
they
because you
get
get
the
the
Rams after the Chiefs.
yeah,
So
tough schedule.
then after their bye, they get a nice dose of Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots. That's the Ravens run right there. They'll win like
Yeah,
eight
they
straight games or something, 9 straight games.
they just have to survive this stretch because the Joe Burrow injury also it kind of really opens the door. I think they're down to like minus 400 favorites to win the North now. The Ravens are.
Oh yeah,
So,
I think that's
um,
gonna. But Burrow's gone for a while too, right? It's not just like
yeah, I mean, bro, like at best case scenario is back. They actually play the Ravens like on December 14th or something like that. That would be, I have to imagine what he's targeting, but that's, it's a scourge in the NFL right now. Turf toe.
well, I think
Our
it'll
guy,
come down to if they're in the race or not, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, Brock Purdy also dealing with turf toe.
Damn turf.
I saw something on the internet. It was like, is there anything that's more poorly named as an injury than turf toe?
It has
Like
nothing to do with
turf,
turf, does it?
and it just sounds like it's not a huge deal, but it's like debilitating. If you have turf toe,
Have you ever
you're
had turf
poor.
toe?
I don't think so. Like if I did, I'd probably know, right?
I don't think I've had turf toe.
Also, didn't was it? We should have probably brought this into our handicapping earlier. I think is Sean McVay. Was that what I saw? He's dealing with an
Turf
injury of
toe?
his own. He tore his plantar fascia
Oh
on the
man. Well,
sideline
he's
last
always
week.
running around the sideline.
I
He needs to
know.
calm down. Him and
I
Pete
have you ever
Carroll.
have you ever had plantar fasciitis?
I
I
haven't
feel
had
like
that either. I've had
you've
a
had. Have
sprained ankle though.
you ever had gout? I feel like you've got some sort of weird.
No, gout
No,
is like, isn't that when you don't shower much and you get fungus on your toes?
no, that's athlete's foot.
I've had athlete's foot.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it went away after I stopped living by myself, and I
After you started taking showers.
my
Yeah,
wife urged me to clean my bathroom more than once a year.
yeah, you just got staph infections everywhere,
I
and it's
was
like,
I was like, why do my feet look like this all the time? Because I would never clean my shower, and I would just be stepping in probably ass shit all the time. And
the uh the idea of cleaning a shower does seem fairly counterproductive though. Like all you're doing is the
well,
only time you're ever in there is when
you
there's
need the
soap everywhere.
chemicals to do their job. I'm one of those people who urinate in the shower as well. So you got to have the chemicals in there.
That's a sterilizer.
Anyway, this conversation's going all
Good
over.
place to end. Yeah.
Good place to end. You know, what's interesting before we go is I saw
Yeah.
the Boston Celtics this year. Their over under is only 40 and a half points. So if you want to make easy money, you should go on the
That
over.
that seems high.
Is it? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't follow NBA offseason much, but isn't
Well,
Jason
Jason
Tatum
Tatum is hurt. I don't know if
still on this
you knew
team
about
and
that.
Jalen Brown? Did Jason Tatum go to the Chicago Bulls or something? What did I miss?
Jason Tatum's not going to play.
Until like Christmas, though, right? He'll be back.
I think he's gonna be gone longer than that.
All right.
It's like a year long. I mean, I guess like professional athletes of a certain age are more prone to like quick recovery. I last time I checked, I thought like torn Achilles is like a year long injury. I will say, a 69-year-old man I've become close friends with at my local park is going through that right now, and he says it's hell on earth. So if that's any sort of yeah, he owns a guy who owns a karate company, and he's chomping at the bit. So he goes down to the local football field and he's doing his
Wow.
calisthenics and he's walking around doing as much shadow boxing with the uprights and stuff, the field goals. Yeah. He throws a pretty good spiral though. I was playing catch with him the other day, but he said it's a tough rehab. So I wouldn't put the cart before the horse with
Well, comparing a 69-year-old man to a world champion athlete, I think is a
Well,
little.
you should know this. When did Kobe come back? How long did it take Kobe?
Kobe's Achilles. I mean, I think that ruined his career. He was never the same after that. He and it's weird because it happened at the end of I think the 2013 season. So I don't remember when he came back in 2014, but
Um,
he was never.
According to AI,
He
Google
must.
AI,
I think he played like a couple games in 2014, and then he got hurt again.
yeah, then he hurt his knee, or is it the?
Yeah,
I've,
he
but
played like 7 games or something. He didn't play a lot in 2014. Let me see.
there's no official timeline yet for Tatum, but many anticipate he will not be back until 26, 27.
That's
I'd
maybe,
almost rather
maybe
bet
don't
on them
listen
to
to
win
my
the.
NBA bet then.
I'd rather bet on them to win the title than they're over.
Ooh, I like that
You
because
know, just get in
Tatum
and
gets
then
back
maybe
in like May, and
yeah, yeah,
okay, Eastern Conference week.
yep.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, and the one thing I'm going to put down now is the show. Very good show. Thank you very much. We might have to take a bye week next week, Mike. I will be out of town, but
Okay.
if we're out next week, we'll see you the week after, and if we maybe we'll do it next week. We'll see. But thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you soon.